I want to go ahead and get over to Leon Ford Jr. now. I think we have the technical issue resolved. Thank you very much, team behind the scenes. Leon, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I am doing well. I appreciate you coming on the Night Talk. Get to the point. First and foremost, how have you been feeling? I know that you had a surgery over the last couple of months. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling all right. Every day gets better. But of course, I'm still in a wheelchair. I try to make the best out of my situation.
And I know that what you've been doing over the last several months since you've regained your strength is you've been going out and you've been doing a lot of talks with young people, both in high school as well as at the college level, talking about anti-violence, both black-on-black crime, but also some of these tensions that you see with communities and police forces. As you see these most recent incidences, what goes through your mind as a newly christened activist?
What goes through my mind is I try to remind people that this has been going on for decades and decades. It's not something new. The only thing new about it is the footage. So we're able to document each and every one of these instances through cell phone footage. And that's just an amazing tool to basically put out what police officers are doing.
All right, so you're talking about the footage that has been out there now, and you've been doing a lot of different things since you've been out on the scene. I know that you had an opportunity, for example, to go to Chicago a couple of times, hang out with some of my folks out there, and talk about anti-violence, talk about how to make communities safer. What's the #1 message as you're, one, going to the black community, trying to keep people safer when it comes to black-on-black crime, but also trying to alleviate the tensions from some of these high-profile cases? What type of message do you have to take out there?
I basically push people to be more positive. If I'm able to go through what I went through and still keep a smile on my face, it shows some level of humanity. So positive thinking and conflict resolution is one thing that I push.
Now, I know you've been doing a lot of this as well, but Leon, you've also been pushing some initiatives here at home as well. You've done several rallies here, both in the East Liberty section of Pittsburgh as well as downtown Pittsburgh, and you've also pushed a petition to stop the practice of stop and frisk in Pittsburgh, warrantless searches. How has that progress been coming along for you?
It's coming along well. I'm getting a lot of young people involved in signing the petition and also wearing the shirts. I have a shirt with the 4th Amendment. If you can see it, this one's for you. I had brought it for you. But and making young people aware of their rights. Usually you hear a lot of people saying, "I know my rights, I know my rights," but they cannot even tell you what an amendment is. So I decided to put the 4th Amendment on the shirt just to show people exactly what your rights are.
I think one of the things that makes you so powerful is the fact that you're able to combat an image of a young black man that ends up being in a situation like you were, unfortunately, in 2012, and be able to move past that. Now, with that strength that you've been able to show over the last couple of years, and you start looking at these incidences in 2013, 2014, 2015, do you think that we're at a point in time where we're going to actually have a movement where things will actually change, where young people will finally coalesce around these incidences and make their communities better, make the relations better between themselves and the police so that we could stop these type of incidences?
Yes, sir. Especially with me on the front line, I've been getting a lot of young people involved, and I'm open to having a conversation. One of my ideas is to actually sit down with the chief of police and maybe even the officer that shot me to get their perspective, because ultimately that's the only way we'll be able to really grow and heal as a community.
Now, I know one of the things you said you also wanted to do is put together an anti-violence rally that has nothing to do with the controversies with the police. It has everything to do with healing the black community. I believe that's coming up at the beginning of May. This is something you've talked about for quite some time, something you've done in other communities. Can you talk a little bit about that here in the city of Pittsburgh coming up in May?
Yes, sir. So Saturday, May 9th, I'm having a Stop the Violence rally. And locally and nationally, we have the Black Lives Matter movement. So what I'm saying is Black Lives Matter when we are brutalized by police officers, but they also matter when we commit violent acts on one another.
So what's the #1 thing that you think, from your experiences, especially going through this in 2012, being on the front lines to end stop and frisk in Pittsburgh, traveling from coast to coast now as a community activist, as a symbol of hope even, what's one of the things that young people need to follow in regards to your example and young people need to do to follow behind leaders like yourselves to make things better with this dynamic?
Stand firmly on what you believe in, even when others may not believe in you, and fight hard.
I want to get to one other thing before I let you go, Leon. That's a very powerful point. You brought up the T-shirt, and if you could show that again, you put the Fourth Amendment up there. Can you tell me why you picked the Fourth Amendment? Does this have something to do with the stop and frisk thing that you have in place? What exactly are you trying to push with that?
Yes. So basically, in the urban communities, we get pulled over. Officers searches our car. They search our cars. I've even had friends where officers bust in their homes and didn't have the appropriate warrants. They were like warrantless searches, and people actually got beat up and went to jail and all types of stuff. So this T-shirt basically lets people know the Fourth Amendment. They have the right Let me read it to you.
That's actually, it's about illegal search and seizure. So
right.
basically you have the right to make sure that there's a reason for somebody to search and seize you if it's the police or somebody from the government official.
Yes, sir. And if you see, I put in bold, the right, unreasonable, violated, and particularly. The word particularly is talking about particularly the warrant has to say for a person, the area, is it a house or a car, or just a particular area where they're going to search.
So it seems as though you're trying to get people engaged but also educated on the law and on their rights. Leon, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you doing the work that you do. Continue to get strong and stay blessed, and thank you for coming on Night Talk. Get to the point.
All right, thank you, sir.
God bless. When we come back, folks, we're going to continue this conversation with the Get to the Point panel about not only the interview, but about this dynamic going on nationally. How do we finally ramp down the tensions that we're seeing?